guys, Camilla here and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I have something special for you, a video as a special guest video designer for Waffle Flower. And I must say I was super thrilled to be asked. So I want to say a big thank you to Tessa and let's get started. So today I'll be using this gorgeous stamp set called Lotus. I will be using 3 of the flowers, the dragonflies and the sentiment. And because I will be doing some watercoloring, I'm using Canson watercolor paper. It's a 300 GSM or 140 pounds thick watercolor cardstock. And I'll be doing some heat embossing. So first I'm stamping out my images using Versamark ink. It's a sticky ink, perfect for heat embossing. And I will be using Silver Wow embossing powder to heat emboss my images. The reason why I decided to use silver embossing powder on my images is that I really love silver embossing with the colors I'm gonna go for, which are shown here right now. I'm not gonna use all of those you see here. Actually, you will see the list of the colors and numbers on my blog post, along with the full supplies list that I used in this video. The brush I'm using for this coloring is by the brand Colibri. It's a synthetic gold sable brush number 5, but you can use whatever you feel comfortable with. I am starting out by coloring the center of the flower yellow, and I'm going over it with my wet paintbrush. And now the first technique is to go on the actual image with your marker and then go in with your wet paintbrush to spread the color and pigment. So that's how you can do it first, but then you will get a very saturated color, very vibrant color, because these markers are really vibrant. So if that's the what you would like to go for, the very vibrant and strong colors, then that's the technique for you. Or you can just scribble your pen on the acrylic block and then pick up the pigment with your wet paintbrush. And that way you can achieve a softer look. Also, these markers, the colors blend in really nicely. You're just gonna make sure that your paintbrush is really wet, and then when you pick up a brighter shade of a color, it mixes really beautifully with the darker one. So here you can see I'm using 3 different shades of kind of purple pink, and I'm trying to achieve some kind of shading look on the flower. I went with a simple assumption that when you look at the flower, the middle part is darker because it's kind of hidden away from the sun, and the outside petals are brighter. So that's what I'm trying to achieve here. And as you can see, I'm going in with the darker on the inner side of the petals and a little brighter on the outer side. So that way you can achieve that kind of shading look. And as you can see, when you leave the color for a little too long, you can get those lines on the dried paint, as you can see there on the top petal. But if you go in with more water, it will kind of blend out, so you won't get those lines. So whenever you're gonna put the paint with water and it dries out, you can always go back with more water and it will even out. I hope my tips are in any way helpful, and I really hope that you're gonna try out the techniques and these pens, because if you like vibrant colors or watercoloring in an easy way, these are perfect. I mean, I really love what I really love about them is that you can blend these colors and achieve this gorgeous look. As you can see here, purples and pinks create these additional colors and they blend in and out, and I just love that. Later on I will be using blues with purples, and you'll see how gorgeous of a blend you can achieve with those. So I continue blending in my colors, going back and forth, adding more water, picking up some water. I'm using a dry tissue paper to do that, or you can use some paper towels just to try out and achieve the look I was going for. And I must say that I have not tried watercoloring for a long time, but I'm starting to love it more and more. And I really think that it's a very forgiving medium. You can go back and forth with your pigment, with your water, with your color, and correct the look of your image. So as long as you're working on a thick watercolor paper, you can do it as much as you want. So here I'm almost done with my flower number 1, and now I'm gonna go in to the second one, and here I'm gonna use some blues. And here is the third way you can do it. All I do is wet the flower before I add my color, and then the pigment just basically floats and spreads on its own. So I'm adding the base coat of my blue color, and then I'm gonna go in with darker shades and add more kind of color and add more shading to my petals. And I think this last technique with adding water first is the most efficient way of spreading your color and blending your colors as well. And I think that third technique with adding water on your image first is perfect for beginners, because you're basically letting water do your work for you. You apply some water, then you add pigment, and the colors blend together perfectly. I really enjoyed this part of the process, because the result afterwards when the paint dries is just stunning. So if you are a beginner and you're not very good with shading, just like me, just make sure that you find a big image with a lot of surface to color, add some water on it, and then go in with pigment, with the whatever watercolor medium you have, and just go for it. Let the colors do your work for you. It's really relaxing, and then the results you get are just stunning. So as you can see here, I just keep adding more and more color until I achieve the look that I was going for. And after I was happy with my coloring, I let it dry, and after it was dry, I fussy cut it. And if you want, you can always go in with your metallic, in this case silver alcohol marker or gel pen on the edges to make it look more like it was perfectly cut out. In this case, I was pretty happy. I just wanted to let you know that that's a possibility. And I must say, I really love how beautiful these flowers are, and I like how the colors blended in together. I fussy cut my images because I wanted to achieve some dimension on my card. And here I have a piece of cardstock. It's a watercolor cardstock as well. I wanted it to be thick. Die cut using a W+9 Sunshine Layers die. And I also added a few stamps to my panel because I didn't want my flowers to float. I also heat embossed them using the Silver Wow embossing powder. I added some green in the side of the stamps, and I used my paintbrush to soften the look of the color. And now I'm gonna add my flowers. And just a quick tip that if you go over your border when you're coloring the images, you can always pick up the pigment with your wet paintbrush and it will clear it right off. I'm gonna stamp my sentiment using VersaFine Onyx Black ink. It's a pigment ink, but it dries really quick. And I stamped out Heartfelt Thanks, a beautiful sentiment from the same set. And I'm using some foam squares to adhere my flowers, as well as some tape runner for the smaller flowers. And after I arranged my flowers on my card front, I'm using some Memento die inks to stamp down my dragonflies, and I'm using Lilac Posies and Bahama Blue first, and then I'm gonna also add one more dragonfly using Grape Jelly. And for a little bit of sparkle, I used my clear Wink Stella glitter pen on the dragonflies and on some parts of the flowers. Here you gotta be a little careful because it's a water-based pen, so it's gonna move your color a little bit. I then wanted to add a little bit more dimension to my card. I didn't want it to be completely flat, so I'm using some fun foam that has adhesive on one side, so I'm adding some double-sided tape to the other side, and then I'm gonna adhere that to my card base, which is in this beautiful blue color. And this is where I decided to add one more dragonfly in this grape jelly, and I thought it nicely complemented the whole card. I just didn't want to have this white spot in the center of the card. And that finishes the card for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. For more stills and information about supplies I used, please visit my blog post or see the description down under the video. Have a great and crafty day! Bye!